Smoke Signals is a very movie. It was directed by Chris Eyre and written by Sherman Alexie. It's mostly based off of the book The Lone Ranger and Tonto Fist Fight in Heaven, which was also written by Sherman Alexie. And to most people, it's seen as a great film that was made by and stars primarily Native American people. But to me, it was just kinda... Yeah, I'm already aware this take's probably gonna piss a few people off. So I'd like to make clear right away that it's fine to like this movie. It's not a horrible movie. It's just not as good as I think people try to say it is. And it's definitely a little below average. But before I start in on this movie, I'd like to at least go over a couple of things that I actually liked about it. For starters, a lot of the music in this film isn't too bad. It's all pretty interesting and pretty fun to listen to. There are certain story elements that aren't too bad either, but that's mostly just because they're not too great as well. There's a couple of funny scenes here and there, but with some of those scenes, I'm not sure if they were trying to be funny. And, yeah, that's about it. Let's get to the stuff I didn't like. The movie starts off with Thomas Builds the Fire. That's a strange name, but yeah, okay. With Thomas Builds the Fire narrating a fire that happened back in 1976, of course, on the Coeur d'Alene Indian Reservation. And during this fire, Victor Joseph's father, Arnold, saved Thomas when his parents threw him out the window because of the building being on fire. I believe I can fly. So yeah, Thomas's parents were killed in that fire, and then his grandma had to raise him. Okay, I'm sorry, but this scream is too funny. And why did they put an echo on it?
Hey Victor, what do you know about fire? Thomas, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh great, our first scene of shitty child acting. Basically what we learn in this scene is that when Victor was a kid, his father left and went to go live in Arizona. Not too soon after this scene, we find out that Arnold Joseph actually died. Victor's mom gets a call from someone named Susie Song, and interesting name again, okay. And of course Victor found out by his mom telling him.
Huh? Hey Victor, I'm sorry about your dad. How'd you hear about it? I heard it on the wind. I heard it from the birds. I felt it in the sunlight. And your mom was just in here crying.
I swear after they did the joke, they paused for the audience to laugh.
And your mom was just in here crying.
Anyway, Thomas points out that Victor doesn't have enough money to get himself to Arizona. Thomas offers to help Victor out, but in exchange, he gets to come with him. And as it's made very clear in the film, Victor doesn't seem to like Thomas very much. We then go to this flashback of Victor as a kid. He's with his father in their truck on Independence Day. And his father's talking about like making all the white people disappear and getting rid of reservations and all this, right? Very subtle. Near the end of the scene, Victor spills his father's drink, and then he does this. I guess that's how punches sound. Like a soda can hitting the pavement. And the moaning and everything that's coming from, like the pain moans, that's all fake, right? That sounds so much like it was recorded in post. This will become a trend. Also, wow, these scene transitions go crazy. Wow, he was just a kid a second ago and now he's like older again. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So now Victor's back home after cashing the check, and his mom's basically telling him this whole speech about, you know, being able to trust people and get help from people, and that's why he should bring Thomas along with him. So Victor finally comes over to Thomas's house and is like, yeah, you can come with me, but don't do any dumb shit. And then we cut to this guy doing news for the reservation and everything, and they talk about the weather and stuff, and there's supposed to be somewhat comedic bits in there, I think. I don't know. I don't really find any of it funny, but I guess that's what they're going for.
One of the clouds up there looks like a horse, and the other one looks like, you know that tavern we used to go to, the log one? And that waitress there? Oh, la. Looks like her. There you have it. Okay.
We passed the stores, we passed the hotels, filled our car with gas, and then...
What the fuck is this? Interesting music choice. Okay, so there are these two girls that are driving backwards in the car. They always do that wherever they're going. That's their gimmick. I assume it's supposed to have some sort of deeper meaning, I guess, maybe. Or maybe it's just a joke. I don't know. This is something I realized early on in the movie, but there's a lot of stuff in here that's either just supposed to be a joke or have a deeper meaning, and I can't tell the difference between the two. And it seems like usually most of the stuff that I laugh at in this movie is the stuff that I'm supposed to take seriously. Anyways, these two girls catch Victor and Thomas walking down the road and decide to stop. They seem to have some sort of relationship and know each other. They offer to give him a ride for something in exchange. Wait. Pause. Not like that. Thomas tells them a story in exchange for them being able to get a ride from them. The quick version of the story is that Victor's father was like some weird hippie when he was younger. He beat the shit out of a National Guard guy or something, and then he got arrested. And then he got pled down because it was already punishment enough being an Indian in America, I guess. Basically. Essentially. Anyway, they get to the bus depot that they needed a ride to and part ways. Then Victor and Thomas get on the bus and start heading towards Arizona. Some amount of the way through the drive, they start talking to this white lady that keeps bending her legs and crap. I guess she's like a gymnast or something. And this is where the ADR gets super noticeable. Like, there have been a couple scenes already where I was like, maybe they recorded it in post, but I know for a fact that this one has to have been recorded in post. Seriously, just listen to this and tell me it wasn't recorded in post.
No way.
Hey, you're an Indian, right?
Yeah, I'm Thomas, and this is Victor. We're Coeur d'Alene Indians.
This is another big problem with the movie. There's something here with it, there's a somewhat interesting script, but once they start trying to adapt it for the screen, everything goes to shit. Anyway, this girl they're talking to keeps complaining about stuff, and whoa, white woman jump scare. Thomas and this lady seem to be getting along pretty well, and then Victor comes in and basically says, shut the hell up, please. Which honestly is understandable. Just look at how she says Mississippi.
I'm Kathy. I'm from Mississippi.
Boo! You stink! Anyway, after this whole encounter, Victor tells Thomas to not be so gullible and trust whatever people say, because this woman was talking about being some sort of Olympic gymnast. Then while Victor is sleeping, we see some sort of flashback where his parents are drunk and there's a bunch of people there having a party. Victor's dad asks him who his favorite Indian is, and all Victor can say is nobody. Once again, very subtle. After the flashback, we cut to a scene of Thomas telling Victor about the time Victor's father took him to Denny's. And there's actually a really funny part in there. Okay, hold on, wait for it. Hold on, it's coming up right here in a second. There it is. I just think the smile was funny, alright? Let me have this. So now we have another flashback that seems to take place right after that party where his parents got all drunk and they had all the people over and everything. Victor seems pretty upset about the whole thing and starts throwing bottles of beer at the car. His mom wakes up and then we get one of the greatest performances of all time.
We ain't doing this no more! No more! We're done with it!
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Jerry.
The emotion that they want to convey in this scene is just not coming through at all. Once again, this movie has some ideas that sound good on paper. It could be a cool cathartic scene, but instead they fall flat on the execution. Back to the flashback. The next day, we get to see more bad acting. And whoa, would you guess it? It's from Tantu again. By the way, I really hope I'm pronouncing that name right. I don't mean any disrespect to the name, but I will continue to make fun of the acting.
It's over! No more drinking! Did you hear me? No more!
Let go.
Nice. That slap sure didn't look fake. Anyway, once Arnold finds out the drinking isn't going to be tolerated anymore, he hits them with the... A couple days after Victor's dad left, Thomas comes up to Victor and is like, hey, I heard your dad left. Why did you do that? Does he hate you or something? That's as good as that impression's gonna get. And as you could guess, Victor's pretty sensitive about this subject. So he starts going like, then he runs off, and wow, what another great scene transition. Totally not weird looking or distracting at all. Now we get this scene of Victor trying to teach Thomas how to be a quote-unquote real Indian, which is essentially just him trying to teach him how to be the stereotype of an Indian. The main things he tells him is to free his hair, look stoic, and get rid of the suit. Which is why in the next scene, we see him coming out of a store with a new shirt. It seems like he unbraided his hair, and for a second he's looking stoic while he's walking out. Once they're back on the bus, they come to find that a couple of these white guys took their seats. They try to get him to move, but they refuse, and the guy basically makes fun of him for being Indian. So they switch seats, and then we see this happen.
John Wayne's teeth, hey, John Wayne's teeth, hey, 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 hey. John Wayne's teeth, hey, John Wayne's teeth.
Well, this just feels bizarre. I mean, it could kind of seem funny, I guess, but it overall just feels kind of weird. And they have this whole song that was made for it, and I'm pretty sure from what I read, it was made in like a couple days, just for this one quick scene in the movie. Also, again, this scene sounds like it was recorded in post, so yeah, just wanted to point that out once again. It's very distracting. They keep doing this in the movie. I'm so sorry that I keep pointing it out, but I have to. It's fucking distracting.
John Wayne's teeth.
Anyway, the bus reaches Phoenix, Arizona, and now they have to walk over to where Susie's song is. During the walk, more funny and subtle social commentary happens. They eventually reach the trailer that Susie lives in and... Oh no, she's hot!
You need to leave!
Susie gives him the urn that has Arnold's ashes in them.
Hold on, you just got here. I mean, you guys want something to eat or drink or something?
Give it to me! Give it to me! Give it to me!
Susie makes them some fry bread for them to eat. Thomas tells a story about how Arlene once made fry bread for the whole community, but she didn't make enough, so she had to like split all the pieces in half. Then Thomas asks Susie to tell them how she met Arnold. All she really says is that she spotted him walking around every now and again, working on his truck, and then I guess they talked at some point, and he started giving her rides to places when she needed them.
Jesus, hardly ever happens.
It's just, you're so attractive and it's been a while. Anyway, after talking for a while, Victor becomes pretty curious on what exactly his father and Susie were, but it seems to be that she's reassuring that they were just really close friends. Although it sounds like Arnold did kind of have a bit of like a thing for her, but it doesn't seem to have ever went anywhere. Susie asks Victor to check inside of Arnold's RV to see if there's anything that he might want to keep.
No way.
Why does he sound so disgusted? Susie reveals that Arnold told her that he was the one who started the fire back in the beginning of the movie. She then also tells Victor that Arnold was the one who saved Victor in the fire at some point, which I guess Victor thought his mom did it. Not sure why he would think that. I guess his mom told him that, or his dad did at some point. Not exactly sure when, but I guess that's what he thought happened. Anyway, this convinces Victor to check inside of his father's RV. He eventually finds his father's wallet and a knife. So, of course, naturally, as you do, he starts cutting his hair off with it. And then the next morning, he gets Thomas and leaves in his father's car without saying anything to Susie. And while they're driving, Thomas and Victor... Oh.
Do you remember that wig? I think it had like a little tag on it that said Jennifer.
It was
I would call it
terrible.
Jennifer.
Thomas and Victor get into an argument about Victor's father. During the scene where they're having Victor and Thomas argue, it is not having the intended effect whatsoever, because I'm really not connected to anyone. I mean, we've spent a bit of time seeing Thomas and Victor talk, and I guess I know a little bit about them, but I'm not really connected to them in any way. There's a part in the argument where Thomas says that Victor makes his mom cry, and I think the implication is supposed to be that Victor is disconnected from his mother, but you don't really see a lot of their relationship in the later years. You see them have a couple conversations and that's really it. I just don't really feel all that much from this scene. But you know, movie, at least there was an attempt.
Everything burned up, Thomas! Everything! Everything burned up! Everything! Everything! Shit! Oh, shit!
After the crash, Thomas and Victor get out of the car. Thomas finds some woman that seems to be in pretty bad shape and doesn't look too well. And Victor starts getting into an argument with some crazy, psychotic drunk guy. And Victor decides that he's gonna try and go for help even though the nearest hospital is like 20 miles away. And the drunk guy there is like cartoonishly evil. He's like, "You're talking to a dead girl. She's dead." Like, Jesus Christ. Isn't this someone you know or something? I get he's drunk, but Jesus. So Victor runs for a while, has some flashbacks / hallucinations, and eventually after collapsing, he's found by some random guy and is able to make it to a hospital. And the people who got into the crash and everything were able to make it to the hospital as well. After getting checked out, Victor and Thomas have to go talk to the police about what happened since there was a freaking car crash. He questions him about a couple of things and he's like, yeah, he probably doesn't have much of a case about you, you're free to go. However,
But I am very curious about this.
That's my father.
you gross.
I can't believe we got out of that guy's office alive.
Every time, dude, it's so distracting. I can't help but notice it. It's like
Thomas. I'm sorry I got us into that wreck.
Did they write his lines on the urn?
But your grandma really missed you, huh?
Yeah, we've been gone 6 days, 12 hours, and 32 minutes.
Oh my god, you didn't even try to lip sync it there. What the fuck is that?
6 days, and 6 days, and 6 days.
It sucks!
Victor thanks Thomas and then they part ways. Victor gives his mom the urn with his father's ashes, and Thomas's grandmother sets Thomas up for a grand ending monologue. Oh. Hold up, I feel like we're building up to something. Wait a minute. Oh shit! Oh! That's a good musical cue. Oh, he's tossing the ashes out. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah. Nap time. What an amazingly made movie. Listen, I get this movie probably means a lot to a lot of people, especially Native Americans. And the point of this video isn't to take away from that. The main point is to just give my 2 cents on why I don't think this thing is as great as a lot of people say. And so I could laugh at that scene at the end again, cause come on, that is hilarious. But once again, I'm just some randy internet nobody. Rockle who? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is I respect the movie and what it was trying to do. And it's sad that this is actually a compliment, but at least the people who made it can say they really tried, because there are certainly other movies and TV shows where it feels like it is just fucking phoning it in, but at least here it feels like the people who are working on this are really trying, and I can respect that. But at the end of the day, just because you tried really hard to make something good doesn't mean the thing you made was that great. 4 out of 10. Have a good night, everybody. Hey, this is my 3rd time recording this, because the first 2 times I rambled and, well, yeah, basically. This video took a while. I'm glad that I got it out. It's a fun video to make. This movie's very, very dumb, as you probably agree with me, because my opinion is just that pervasive and that persuasive. I got some content ideas I'm thinking about, trying to get out more content lately. It's been like 2 months between this and my last post, so I'm gonna try and put out some stuff more consistently. Sorry, that was my cracking my finger. Yeah, so I'm thinking about maybe doing streaming and stuff for my gaming stuff. If you watch my old Rockleman video games playlist, maybe uploading the full playthroughs of those, and then streaming more of them. Like with Dead Space, I've been stuck on this one boss with it for a while, so maybe I'll just start streaming that. We'll have to see. I've also thought about doing some dubbing stuff, if you know about like TFS and with Dragon Ball Z Abridged and everything, or Ace Vane, if you like those people. I've thought about doing something in like a similar type of way as that, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm not 100% on anything yet. It's just some ideas I've been throwing around. But other than that, that's all I really have to say. I guess I could plug my other social media stuff you can find me on. You can find me at YeBoyRockle on Instagram. Yeah, you can find me there now, because I'm gonna start plugging more of my other social media stuff. And you can also find me at Rockleman on Twitter, Rockleman at RockleGuy. And yeah, that's everything. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was pretty funny and that you had an excellent time. And I hope you have just a fantastic day, evening, wherever you're at right now. I love you. Have a good day.